I've been a Christian for quite a large portion of my life. Since I was 4, I gave my heart to the Lord, and I've been following after him ever since, and I try to live my life to the best of my ability as a Christian would, following like what the Bible has laid out for me to do. And I don't always succeed in that. So I'm just going to share a little story about a time when I didn't fully do the Christian thing and how that affected me for a little bit afterwards. So when I was in high school, there was this little back alley I would walk through every lunch to get to my classes from one school to another, because I attended 2 schools at the same time. So after lunch, I would always walk through that little alley. And I remember this one day, I saw a horde of young boys, probably grade 9, so just starting high school, chasing after another boy all the way into the alley. They were swearing and shouting, and they pin him to the ground and they start beating him up. And I was watching all this. There's some other people by there, and I kind of just froze up completely because, I don't know, I'd never experienced that before, so I didn't know how to react. He was just there curled in a ball in the middle of this alley, and I had to walk directly through that alley to get to my school. And I was thinking, like, I wish I could say that my initial thought was to go and help this kid, but I was thinking, I have to walk through this alley, and that just happened. So I was kind of in shock for a bit. I looked around at the people who had watched, and they kind of just moved on. They went in their vehicles, or they went back to the other school. They didn't have to walk through the alley, and I was just, I don't know, I didn't know what to do. So I just started walking really, really, really slowly. And I remember just thinking of all the options of what I could do. Like, should I just go the other way? Should I go around this building instead of just through the alley? I could avoid this whole thing. I remember seeing another group of students walking in my direction from the other side of the alley, and I thought, if I walk really, really slowly, then they'll get to him first and I won't have to deal with it. And by the time I was near the kid, they had already gotten to him, and I remember walking as far to the edge of the alley as possible so I didn't have to look at this kid who was all beaten up, and I could see his back with scratches. I remember seeing his hat on the ground, and I thought maybe I could pick it up and give it to him and say, "Hey, you okay?" or something like that, but I just kept walking. When I got back to my friends, I remember explaining to them, like, I just saw a kid got beat up. Like, I was just so in shock, and the way they reacted was kind of like, "Oh, really? Like, that's a fun story?" And I was in shock at the moment, but I tried to laugh it off and be like, wow, the crazy things that happen in high school. But over the next month, I remember like staying up late at night thinking, like replaying the event over and over and over in my head, thinking how I could have done it different and how I could have been the one to help him up, or how maybe if I had like shouted or something, I could have stopped the fight from happening, which probably wouldn't have been smart. But I was just replaying every scenario where I could have been a better person in that situation. It didn't plague me forever. Eventually I just had to move on and say, well, I didn't do it right that time. I remember thinking about the story of the Good Samaritan in that moment, and like how it mentions the 2 guys who walked on the other side of the road, and how that's exactly what I had done. I had walked purposely as far away from him. I tried not to look at the situation, and I just kept walking. And I think it's hard to hear about times when we fail as Christians, but even in these failures, you can like still grow and learn, and I can forever try to do better the next time. And just because I failed that one time, like, I can't let it like hold me back, or I can't try to like hide from it. I can just use it as a learning experience, and that was the biggest thing I got from that situation. And I think it's important for everyone to know that even when they fail sometimes, they can pick themselves back up, because God's grace is so beautiful, and He's like always going to forgive us for everything we do.